Factorize x cube minus 6x square plus 11x minus 6. This is a cubic function, so it will ideally have three factors, something of the form x minus a into x minus b into x minus c. So we have to find what are those a, b, and c. So ideally I need the answer as equal to x minus a into x minus b into x minus c. This is called factorization. So the cubic equation here can be factorized as the product of three linear functions, x minus a, x minus b, x minus c. So I have to find out what are a, b, and c. So here is the trick to first, so we already know how to do it for a quadratic function because we know how to find out the roots of the quadratic equation, which I will again explain in one of the future videos. We can find out the roots of a quadratic function by rather quadratic equation by the regular formula of minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a, or we can just split the middle term and find out the roots and we can factorize. But how to do it for a cubic equation? So the idea is we need to focus on the constant term, which is minus 6. So we focus on the magnitude, which is 6. So the constant term is 6. So one of these factors, x minus a, x minus b, x minus c. So one of these numbers, a, b, or c, is a factor of 6. So what are the factors of 6? 1, 2, 3. And when we check for a, b, c, we should also look for -1, also look for -1, -2, and -3. So what do we do here? We just substitute 1, 2, 3 or -1 or -2 or -3 into this function and see if it comes as 0. If it comes as 0, then x minus that particular number is a factor. Let's start with 1. So if we substitute 1 in this, so I'll just mark it using a pencil in blue. So I am putting x equal to 1 here. So we'll check one by one. If 1 doesn't work, then we'll try 2, or else 3, or -1, or -2, or -3. Ideally, one of these should work. So that's the trick to factorize the constant term, and then we find out a. So if we substitute x equal to 1, if x equal to 1, then the f of 1, which means f of x when x is equal to 1 is 1 cube, which is 1, minus 6x square, which is 6 into 1, plus 11 into 1, which is again 11, minus 6, which is equal to 0. This means x minus 1 is a factor of fx. Now what is fx? That is the question. That is the sum for which we are trying out to find out the answer. fx is x cube minus 6x square plus 11x minus 6. If we try x equal to minus 1, for example, what do we get? If x equal to minus 1, then the f of 1 would be, f of minus 1 would be x cube, which is minus 1 cube, which is minus 1, minus 6 into minus 1 square, which is minus 6 only, minus 11, minus 6, which is not equal to 0, not 0. So which means x plus 1 is not a factor. That's how it works. So which it means if f of a is 0, then x minus a is a factor of f of x. So we look for a, and we got a, which is 1. So I'll just circle this. So x minus 1 is a factor. So I'll just rub this off because I need to find out the next factors. So this is equal to x minus 1, because x minus 1 is a factor because f of 1 was 0, as explained, into, because the original function is a cubic function, the result has to be cubic also. So this will be a quadratic function of the form ax square plus bx plus c. So we have to find out what is this, because the f of x, and this is f of x, right, is, so the f of x is x minus 1 multiplied by the quadratic function. So the quadratic function will be the original function, which is the cubic function, divided by x minus 1. I'll go back to black ink again and the pencil. So we have to divide two algebraic expressions. So this is how we do it. So inside we write x x cube minus 6 x square Excuse me for the slow speed because I have still not connected the mouse. I need to do it very soon. Plus 11x I'll connect the mouse right away. Yeah, that's better. So 11x minus 6. So we have to divide this by x minus 1. So how do we divide? So we need to look for the first one, which is x cube. So we have to multiply this by x square because our target is x cube. So x minus 1. So this x minus 1 into x square would be x cube minus x square. X cube minus x square. And like in any division, we just subtract. So x cube minus x cube is 0 minus x square plus, because when we do minus, this x square becomes plus x square. Minus x square becomes plus x square. So we're just subtracting the bottom from the top. So x cube minus x cube is 0. Minus x square plus x square would be minus 5 x square. So once we do the subtraction, we just drop down the next term, which is plus 11x plus ln x. So again, we need to target this minus 5x square. So we have to multiply x minus 1 using minus 5x. So what do we get? So we get minus 5x square so x minus 1 we multiply using minus 5x. So minus 5x square plus 5x. And when we subtract the whole thing from the top, which is minus 5x square plus 11x, so minus 5x square and plus 5x square would be 0, and 11x minus 5x would be 6x. So once we do the subtraction, we again drop down the next term, which is just a constant term of minus 6. And now we have to target minus 6x. How do we get so we have to target 6x. So how do we get 6x? So we need to multiply x minus 1 using 6, because only then we'll get 6x plus 6. So when we multiply x minus 1 with 6, we get 6x minus 6. And when we subtract this bottom term from the 6x minus 6, we get 0, because both are the same. So this is equal to, which is so f of x. This f of x, this cubic function, now we just found out that it is equal to x minus 1, because x minus 1 is the factor we found out by trial and error. Whenever it's a cubic function, we have to do this, multiplied by x square. That's what we did using the division. We found out the quadratic function, minus 5x plus 6. This is the top quotient which we got. but still it's not there in this format. So we need to further factorize the quadratic one, which is straightforward. We have to split the middle term, because the product is 6 into 1. 1 is the coefficient of x square. 6 into 1 is 6. So we need to look for the factors of 6. So 6 is equal to 2. So firstly it is 1 into 6. And secondly is equal to 2 into 6. 2 into 3. So we have to find out, and because the product of 1 and 6 is positive, and the sum of these two roots, sum of these two is negative, which means both the factors have to be negative. So the product is positive and the sum is negative. So the product of two factors is positive and the sum is negative. That is only possible if both negative. If both are negative, because if both are negative, the product of the two numbers will be positive and the sum will be negative. So we have to add up these two numbers. So if we add up 1 and 6, we get 7, which is not what we are looking for. We are looking at minus 5. If we add up 2 and 3, we get 5. So this is our clue. So we have to try with minus 2x, minus 3x. Because these both are negative numbers, so the product will be 6. So we have to split minus 5x as minus 2x, minus 3x. So this is how we factorize is equal to x minus 1. This is the original factor got by trial and error, and x square. So I'll write x square using a pen. X square minus 2x minus 3x plus 6, right? So which is equal to x minus 1 into, so we just take the, so there are two parts to this one and this one. So the first one is x into x minus 2 minus, so here we have to pick out the minus 3 into x minus 2. So we are getting close to the answer, is equal to x minus 1, which is the original factor obtained by trial and error, into, we take this common x minus 2 out. X minus 2, the remaining thing is x minus 3. X minus 3. This is our answer. So I'll just highlight this using a red box. This is the answer. So this is how we factorize a cubic function. We find out one factor using trial and error, so in which we focus on the constant term, find out its factors. So once we get the first factor, x minus a, using the trial and error, we just divide this cubic function using that factor and get the quadratic quotient. And this quadratic quotient we further factorize into two linear factors. and this is how we do it. Thank you.